Alright, this is going to be a long overdue Patreon request from my good friend Jason Voorhees 2011. I've been actually meaning to do this for a long time, but mostly because the reason why I wasn't able to do it was because I couldn't really think of who could go where. Like, so I thought I thought it'd be kind of fun to do this finally after a little help from Jason himself. So we did come up with a list, although there probably is going to be some alterations here and there. So yeah, this is, and as always, if you want to make a Patreon request, go to my link in the description below to my Patreon and hit the 4th tier and send me a message. I got a few Patreon requests I actually need to do, but you know, I've been busy, so it's finally time to sit down and do some Patreon requests. Anyway, we're getting off topic, so let's get started with the rules with these lantern rings. Is that I don't do like the other new rings like the gray lantern or the ultraviolet or I don't do the white and black lantern rings, mostly because you have to be dead for a black lantern ring. Anyone can be a black lantern. Same with anyone can be a white lantern. We're only doing the main core of the emotional spectrum. So let's get started with the green ring. So the green ring, obviously, no fear. You can overcoming great fear and whatnot. So in here, there are a few picks in the Sailor Moon universe to use that, to have that. But I think the one character who really like establishes like what it means to be a Green Lantern is Sailor Jupiter, Makoto. She overcomes her own insecurities and her own fears as Sailor Jupiter a lot throughout the show, and you see her grow and become the most confident among the team. So if anyone's going to be worthy of a Green Lantern ring, it's her. Next we have the Blue Lantern ring. Mostly it establishes hope. Now, Jason did suggest that we use Ami, Sailor Mercury, for this, but I was kind of thinking like Ami's more logical than she is hopeful. She thinks more by logic than she does by hope. But there is someone in Sailor Moon that does think a lot of hope, and that is and that's Mamoru. Tuxedo Mask. Reason being of why I think Tuxedo Mask would get the Blue Lantern ring is because he thinks, he believes fully in Sailor Moon. Like, he is just 100% hopeful of her. He is just like, all of his hope is on her. So she is like for him, she is his hope. So I think that would gravitate towards getting a Blue Lantern ring. Plus, I think, could you imagine the Tuxedo Mask costume in just all blue? I don't know. Anyway, so let's move on now to the next ring, the Indigo Tri Brain. Now, as I've stated before, the Indigo ring does not go to someone who is compassionate. It has to go to someone who has been given compassion by somebody else. And there are a few picks I could have gone with, but this one was interesting because I kind of thought of it because Jason didn't have an idea, but then I kind of thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, there is someone who could act, there is a sailor character who does get compassion, and there are a few, technically, but this one I thought was the best one, and that's Hotaru, the Sailor Saturn. Literally everyone in the fucking universe wanted to kill her because she was going to end everything. But Hotaru literally got compassion from Chibi Moon. It was someone who saw the good in her, and that compassion was passed on to her. So yeah, I think she would get the Indigo. So I think she'd get the Indigo ring because of what happened in that story arc. She was given compassion when she was given, zero doubt, and literally became a god of death, essentially. So Sailor Saturn gets the Indigo Tri Brain. So now we move on to the Star Sapphire ring, and I think you all know it's going to be fucking Sailor Moon. She's literally all in on that love for Mamoru. So there's literally no one else for the for that ring other than Usagi. Like, you could make the argument for Sailor Venus because she is the guardian of love, but let's face it, that love between Mamoru and Usagi kind of I think does beat out Venus by just a frog hair. So, yeah, Star Sapphire, Sailor Moon. Because, of course, Sailor Moon was going to be on this list. It's her own universe, so of course we were going to try to find a ring for her, and Star Sapphire was the right ring for her. So now we come to the ones everyone loves. The three rings everyone really loves. Rage, greed, and fear. So, let's talk about who gets the Orange Lantern Ring, the Ring of Avarice. Well, there's a few picks in here of people who want it all, but really, we kind of, like Jason suggested, there's only one real person for this one good pick for this ring. And that is Nehainalina, the Mirror Queen. She's literally like, she wants it all. She wants everything to bow down and worship to her. And there was a very close chance for Beryl, but Nehainalina just makes more sense. Like on a logic standpoint, Nehainalina getting the Orange Lantern Ring makes like the most logical sense because she is like, she wanted nothing but love and power and all of that. I mean, you could make that argument for all the Sailor Moon villains, or any villain really, but at the same time it's like, oh, that Nehainalina really did want everything. So yeah, Nehainalina gets the Orange Lantern Ring. So now we move on to the Red Lantern Ring. Now, as we all know, the Red Lantern Ring is basically a ring that it's not given to someone who's angry. It's someone whose rage has to be righteous, or what they think is righteous, or they think they've been wronged. It's like a revenge ring. And that goes to Beryl. And you may be thinking, why, of all people, Queen Beryl gets the Red Lantern Ring? You just said she's angry. You just said, it doesn't go... Well, here's the thing. The ring gets to pick who... And also, the Red Ring's always been the most nebulous when it comes to its rules. But when you think about it, like, Beryl was wrong... Like, she was wronged by her empire. She felt wronged by the people of Earth. She felt wronged on all levels. So... yeah, her rage in her mind is righteous. And like I said, the Red Ring is probably the most nebulous when it comes to the rules because they're constant, but they always try to, like, eke in that whole righteous rage thing. So, Queen Beryl gets the Red Lantern Ring. Finally, we come to the Sinestro Corps ring. Who instills the most fear? It's Galaxia. You already knew it was going to be Galaxia who was going to get the Sinestro Corps ring. That bitch is literally like, every other villain before her was like, I don't want to, nope, not dealing with it. So, yeah, there was no one else other than Sailor Galaxia who was going to get that ring. Like, the moment this started, it was like, yeah, Galaxia's getting the Yellow Lantern ring. Like, there's no bones about it. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much my page. I want to thank Jason for this Patreon request. And if you guys want to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below to my Patreon. Become the join the 4th tier patron, and then you can send me requests on the personal messages. And also check out the other. You also can check the other exclusive videos on there. I'm gonna have some new videos on there soon, so stay tuned for that. But other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.